Hi everyone. Hello，大家好。对不起，不是台湾人。So I'm going to give this talk in English, and also this is my very first English presentation. So I apologize for that in advance as well. And the title is Schema First API Development with Open API and Committee. I'm going to talk about them in details later. Okay, let's get started. My name is Shohei. I'm from Hokkaido. In Chinese pronunciation, Hokkaido is maybe Beihaidao. Some people may know about Hokkaido because the Netflix drama First Love, was filmed in Hokkaido. Currently, I work for two companies, Initiatech Inc. and Field Bootcamp. Oh no, I can't see my script. Wait a sec. Okay. At Initiatech Inc., I developed Rails app and Next.js app. And at Field Bootcamp, I teach how to develop Ruby apps and Rails apps. Field Bootcamp is kind of a programming school. And now I'm working on a project for a product named Poco, and I'm developing the backend application. Poco is popsicles for children, and all ingredients, of course, from Hokkaido. And we deliver our products to our customers once a month, and who registered from the mobile app. The mobile app is developed with Flutter. The backend web API is developed with Rails, and these interact with each other using REST API. So today, I'd like to talk about the schema-first approach we adapted to develop these apps. What does a not schema-first approach look like? It goes like this. The backend team designs and develops web API first. After that, they verify and release them. What does the front-end team do during development? Just to wait. The backend team may share some information about their designs, but those are not final version, of course. So sometimes the front-end team should not develop their app based on that kind of information. The API is finally completed, so let's start to develop the app. Some of the API are not working properly, and the documentation is incorrect or outdated. These kind of things happens very frequently. On the other hand, the schema-first approach goes like this. First, the backend team and the front-end team discuss and agree on their API schema. Then they develop their apps based on the schema. Once the development is completed, they verify that their apps conform to the schema and integrate them. If there are no problems, they will release their apps. So how can we adopt this approach? Let's write API specifications in Open API specification. Open API specification is written in YAML or JSON, and is of course human readable and machine readable. Please check the official website for details on how to write. Once API specifications are written in OAS, abbreviations for Open API specification, the useful tools like Swagger UI, Swagger CodeGen are available. Now we can check the API documentation on Swagger UI. And once we have written API specification in OAS and developed the API, we can test our Rails app conforms to their schema using gems called committee and committee Rails. Committee provides rack middleware to validate requests and responses. And a committee Rails utilizes committee's assertion method. Using these assertion methods, we can check if our API requests and responses follow the OAS specification on tests like request spec of error spec. Okay, demonstrate. I will demonstrate. This is very basic, simple example to create a user. Their user's controller. This create action accepts some parameters like username, password, first name, last name, email, phone. And specification is like this, slash users with post request. And request bodyはよlike this. Required parameters are username, password, first name, last name, email, and phone. And there are also types. The user response is like this. Required parameters is not parameter values. ID, username, first name, last name, email, and phone. And also there are types. I use user serializer, but there's nothing special here because just use to JSON. Just to use JSON of active record, to JSON method of active record. Here's our spec, request spec. This example is for to create a user, and just post to here with these parameters. And I use these assertion methods I talked about before. Assert request scheme confirm and assert response scheme confirm. This assertion method confirm that the request parameters conform OpenAPI schema, and this assertion method validates this response conform OpenAPI schema. Yeah. Okay, let's run this request spec. Now, this API implements. This API is implemented like this, so no problem here. But, for example, okay, I will omit this ID, but ID is one of the required values. So let's run request spec again. Now this test is failed, but assertions are only like this, only two methods. Okay, let's say omit this username from request parameters. If we miss this parameter, test will fail. Also fail. User request missing required parameters username. the test phase like this. Of course, there are pros and cons for this approach. One of the best parts is that the specification and documentation never become obsolete because we designed the schema first and develop apps based on need. Even if we need to change the specification, we must change the schema first, otherwise tests would fail. This approach promotes collaboration between the front-end team and the back-end team. By the schema-last approach, the back-end team inevitably takes more control. It's not good. To adopt this approach, we need to learn how to write specifications in OpenAPI specification. There are various specifications, so it may be difficult until you get used to it. I also confirm that committee does not necessarily cover every cases, but I don't know much about specific cases, unfortunately. There are pros and cons. Anyway, thank you for listening to my talk. To be honest, I'm not really good at listening to English. So if you have any questions, I hope someone translates them into Japanese. Questions are not limited to this talk, so please ask me anything about Taiwan, Japan, anime, First Lab, and so on, of course, about this talk. And also, I'm going to participate in Ruby Kaigi. See you in Matsumoto, Nagano, in Japan. If there is a Japan. If there's a conference in Taiwan, I would definitely like to participate in that as well. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Please have committee. Production. What? Say it again? Production. Yeah, we use a committee to just verify. I don't know how to say. We use committee in test environments in a CI. What request? Sorry. Actually, I understand maybe half.